You want me to get out and direct you? Give you some
No, I have done this 1,000 times.
Okay, so just straight back. Yeah, that's false.
Yeah, I jackknifed her.
Hey, guy, is that your first time backing her up?
He's done it 1,000 times.
I've done it quite a few times.
Hey, I remember my first time.
Son of... We got a crowd now?
He's got a 12-pack with him.
I got this.
And I'll be out here to help direct you.
I don't need you back there.
You kind of do.
Nope, I'm not going to make it. I got to try her again.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything. You want to go guide me? Give me some hand signals, please?
You got about a football field.
Come over
about
in the
1,000
side mirror.
scotches this way.
Where do you want me to go?
Let me give it a try. I'm just going to be over here. You've done it 1,000 times. You don't need me.
I'm way in over my head here.
Good morning, Swim World, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Friday, May 14th, and this is the Drought podcast. Hashtag Full Squad. I'm J.E. Skeets, rolling with Mr. What You Need to Know, Tass Mellis.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Tassy. Got the top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Hey-o.
Hey,
Yo.
International man of mystery, taking it to the max, the banana slammer himself, Lee Ellis.
Friends.
And last but not least, making the magic happen, it's JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are. Shout out to the stream team joining us live here on a Friday morning. Please continue to like, comment, and subscribe. Huge thanks to everybody that joined us last night for our happy hour charity drive. We raised over $11,000 for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. You guys were amazing. So thank you to everybody that joined us live, that donated. We had a blast with our guy Sam over in the UK, kept him up till 5 a.m. because we were, doffing top hats to each other and doing some funny awards. And we had a blast last night, dropping coins on our heads. I got a slight concussion, I think, from dropping a lot of coins on my noggin there. But hey, we hit those crazy goals, had to do it. So thanks again to everybody. That donation link, it's actually still in the YouTube comments for not only that show last night, which you can go and watch and have a blast with, but all of these shows moving forward, at least for the month of May. I think that's right, Tass, is that it's good for the end of the month, so people can still donate if they want to. Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. So go do that if you couldn't join us live and you want to give some money to a great cause, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Keep your NBA questions and comments coming for the next Beach Steppin' podcast. Email them in nodunks@theathletic.com. Tweet them in at NoDunksInc. And finally, immaculate items always available for sale over at nodunks.com. How's everybody holding up? I mean, it was a fun and wild night there in the happy hour. You guys all sound quiet right now, if I'm being honest.
Dad's tired today, Skeetsy.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Almost like Sam, as soon as that show got over, we were talking backstage. He's like, I'm buzzing, man. I felt the same way. You can't just turn it off and go to bed like that. I had to watch some dumb stuff on YouTube. See a guy make 2 different kinds of breakfasts, at 12:30 in the morning. What you going with, the American or the full English? Full English. I'll get even talk at this point. All I know is it was a fun night last night, and we're back in the morning. I saw 4 Morning Poops is here in the stream team. This guy doesn't miss a trick. I'm loving it. Shout out to 4 Morning Poops, a huge donation last night. I don't know if you guys followed through on your part of the deal with regards to the Morning Poops, but we're at least 1 down, if you know what I'm saying. So
I'm 2 in the bag already.
Wow.
Coffee this morning, yeah.
Yeah, I doubled up too. So we're,
Great.
5 murmuring poops.
yeah, baby.
All right. And before we move on, too, make sure you go check out the final What You Need to Know. Tass and JD, you said you got up to 92 of these mini recap episodes, and you guys did incredible work since back starting it up in January there. That little 10, 11-minute recap videos. But the last one was this morning, Tass and JD. So congrats to you guys. And I know you guys had a little army yourselves there every morning joining you guys live as you caught everybody up on the big games and the news and stuff like that. So kudos to you guys. And I guess you're going to get a little bit more sleep. But are you really? Because now we're just going to be up late at night, super watching the games extra close because, of course, the playoffs, a little different in the regular season. Sometimes you can tune out for the later games and catch them in the morning. But are you going to get more sleep?
We will get more sleep.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. There's no question. Having to watch a lot of basketball. Actually, it was good last night after the live stream ended. there were still some games to watch. There were still live Blazers Suns to watch. So that was perfect. Couldn't come down right after it, but had to watch that. So yeah, JD and I will definitely be getting more sleep, no doubt. Or JD, you're going to be taking in every minute of every playoff game, and then waking up at 5 and talking about it. No thanks. Yeah, so we'll be done with that for a while. Yeah, it was a lot of fun doing a fun experiment the last 4 months, and yeah, solid army in the mornings. And thank you to everybody who tuned in. It was a blast. It was a blast getting doing that little format because sometimes people can't absorb a full hour of ridiculousness, but they can take in 10 minutes.
That's true.
So there we go.
Give it a little bit of everything for everybody out there. Okay, well, let's get to the big games and news from last night here as we head into the final weekend of the regular season. We still don't know much. There's a lot up in the air, but maybe the highlight from last night, besides our charity drive, was the Miami Heat's Udonis Haslem, TK, getting ejected 3 minutes into his debut. Got a standing ovation, comes in, scores some buckets, and then gets into it with Dwight Howard, and he gets tossed. I mean, it was literally perfect.
This is some of the most baller shit imaginable. Udonis Haslem played 3 minutes in a blowout, and it was the story of the night. It was a busy 3 minutes, too, for Udonis Haslem. 4 points, including a baseline 16-footer that you only shoot if you're an old big guy. Like, nobody's taking a baseline 16-footer, but Udonis Haslem came in for the first time this season, knocked one down. That might be the only baseline 16-footer made this entire season. He got a rebound. He took a charge. He tried to take another one. He started beefing with Dwight Howard almost immediately, even before the ejection. Dwight eventually throws him to the ground on a box out, and you could just see Udonis Haslem sitting there in the middle of the floor. He's like, oh, shit, here we go again. Goes back down the court. UD gets up in Dwight's face. He's pointing fingers at him. I think he touched his face with his finger. 2 techs and an ejection, all in 3 minutes.
Oh.
According to ESPN stats and info, Udonis Haslem is the only player in the past 20 years to play in only one game and get ejected for it. He's the real-life Happy Gilmore. I'm the only guy to take my skate off and try to stab somebody with it. Amazing stuff. Eric Spoelstra said, this was my favorite moment of the season. Just excessive passion, competitiveness, and anger. Just love it. Basically saying, Udonis Haslem is our temper boy. Udonis Haslem said, it's a great memory. If this is the last one, I finished it the only way Udonis Haslem could, with an ejection. At the end of the day, I am who I am. I can't change now. My stepmom texted me right after the game and said I did the right thing, so I have no doubt in my mind I did the right thing. Baller. Personally, I am blessed to have seen this happen live. Had no idea what was happening. We're setting up for happy hour. I got the show on mute there. Saw Udonis Haslem wearing the vice versa jersey. Is this really happening? Is Udonis Haslem actually playing? Did he ask to play this game because of the jerseys? And just like that, here you go. Amazing performance from Udonis Haslem. Unforgettable.
And it's weird too, right, Lily? Because like Dwight really didn't do all that much. He sort of like just did the old classic, like pulled the chair on him, so to speak. Like he didn't. Like, he didn't throw him like Reggie says on the broadcast or anything like that. It was like he just sort of got him and he had him stumbling, but that was enough to upset Haslem. And then, he had some words for him and he's pointing at him and Dwight's going to come back. And it was just a strange moment, if anything.
Yeah, and Haslem didn't even really deserve to be ejected either, I didn't think. I mean, it was more, okay, hit him with a tee, that's what you kind of do. But then to get thrown out for that, I thought was a bit much. So maybe...
I think it's the finger touching the face.
But even still, is that an ejection? I know these days things tend to get, happen a little early. But see that, like, Dwight didn't do anything I didn't think really nasty.
All right, got to go fight him.
I mean, Dwight is incredibly strong still. And it's more like just the sort of the momentum and the timing there. It's rather than Dwight doing anything silly. But then, he comes down the other end and Udonis Haslem just that angry old man in the gym who just wants to fight someone. And Dwight's good enough. So, yeah, sure, I'll just go with Dwight. I know Dwight will bite. Dwight won't ever be able to resist. So he does that. So, it certainly sounds like this is the end of Haslem's playing career, which honestly it's been extended by about 5 years anyway. But he's regarded as a legend, of course, down there in Miami. And Spoelstra and Pat Riley like him on the team for not obviously what he does on the court, but in the locker room and around those other guys as a leader. Although I'm not sure this was the strongest leadership quality.
I know. It's like, should we be like
uh,
applauding this and praising
Exactly.
this? I mean, I love it.
It's more kind of,
it's Haslem.
yeah, it's more kind of like, how can you just go out there and get that? Anyway, the point being, though, that within that Heat sort of culture, that he's the sort of player who's been there. He was undrafted. He's from Miami. So he's got all that sort of history there with the Heat. Of course, he's been there for all their championships. And they just love him for what he does. Yeah. So it certainly sounded, Trey sort of mentioned there some of the things I was talking about, that they haven't made a final decision, but at some point you're just going to have to move on. But obviously I expect him to stay in the front office or on the bench as an assistant coach or something like that. So, crazy to see Udonis Haslem come out. Crazy. I mean, Rasheed Wallace, I think, has got the quickest ejection in history for that 90-second job in New York, but wasn't his only game of the season. That's what's different here for Haslem. But pretty crazy stuff to happen. This season's just so wild, man.
Anything to add to this, Tess?
Well, if he does go and become part of the front office, I hope the front office greets him like they greeted him when he came onto the floor. They gave him a bit of a standing ovation. Pat Riley stood up and gave him a standing ovation as he entered the game. This is game 80 of the season. I'm sorry, game 70 of the season. And Udonis Haslem is making his first appearance of the season. It's just nuts. And I do think that the Heat absolutely love this in the locker room. Eric Spoelstra adores it. Yeah, I think Eric Spoelstra looks at UD, as an extension of him. The entire team is a scrappy bunch. That's how they got to the finals, and he just wants this to just roll over into the final and roll into the playoffs. This is exactly how he wants them to play. And that's what they did against Joel Embiid last night. I think the biggest thing to come from this game on the floor outside of UD being UD and being sort of the hashtag Heat culture embodied on the floor is that they took away Joel Embiid in this game big time. Multiple guys had their eyes on Joel Embiid. He only got to the free throw one time. He was invisible out there because they made him invisible. They had three guys, a double coming, a triple coming, and it just shows how important the other guys are going to be in the playoffs. The Heat defense is special, but this could be a second-round matchup. The Sixers are going to end up with the 1 seed, but it lays a bit of a blueprint on how Joel Embiid is going to be played. A lot of guys looking at him and ready to pounce, and Joel Embiid's got to just make up a decision, just go through guys. But the Heat are sort of the perfect kryptonite, and UD kind of embodies it. Like, you just need multiple bodies against Joel Embiid, and I want to see how Embiid reacts to all those guys, because there was in the mid post. Usually teams will say, okay, you take a mid ranger, but they also had a guy underneath ready to double. And so, that kind of slowed down a bit. And the bigger thing was the guy up top is ready to dig down. He was like a step away from the guy who's on top above the break, ready to shoot a three. That defender was ready to come down. There's multiple guys ready. So that's Joel Embiid's challenge here as a number one guy and as an MVP guy going into his first postseason. As that type of guy. He did it last year when, he didn't have the supporting cast. Now he does. Now they're a number one team. They'll clinch it this weekend. That's his challenge.
Well, let's talk about that race for 4, 5, 6 there in the East, because the Heat defeated the Sixers. That was big. The Hawks defeated the Magic. And then the Knicks defeated the Spurs. So all of those three teams that are trying to decide who's going to have home court advantage in the first round, who's going to play each other in the first round, and who's going to be then the 6th seed, they all won. Tass. So how is this going to shake out? I don't know how if you really crunched the schedule here and looked at the tiebreakers, but what's your gut say at the end of this weekend of who's hosting that first round series and who are they playing? And again, who's going to be the 6th seed of those three teams?
Well, here we go. The Hawks are going to be the 4th seed. They just have to win their last game, and they play. I think it's the stinky Rockets, the worst team in the NBA. So they just have to win. Right, and it's surprising to see how good they've been at home, considering we live down the street from that arena. It doesn't feel like they've won 10 straight there, and they're 18-2 in their last 20. That just doesn't seem right. But this team has seriously got it together, and the way they play, and everybody on that team kind of playing the role. John Collins taking a little bit of a step back, even though it's a contract year. Trae Young getting everybody involved, obviously super important. Bogdan Bogdanovic coming into himself. Nate McMillan giving him sort of the keys to shoot whenever he wants. Clint Capella happy to be back in his Rockets role of just dunk and defend, dude, and he's doing it super, super well. So I'm not sure which one of these three teams is the scariest. Like the Heat have the potential to go the furthest, but the Hawks now are going to get home court, and that kind of leaves the Knicks as the odd team out. They're probably going to be starting on the road, but I don't know how Trey feels about their starting lineup because he dropped a real good reference. Tom Thibodeau started Keith Bogan's 82 games several years back. Now he's starting Elfrid Payton, and that just feels like that has to change. Even if it's Frank Ntilikina in the starting lineup, it's just they rely so much on Julius Randle and then Derrick Rose coming off the bench. And I wonder, Trey, do you think they have to change the starting lineup to take some pressure off Julius Randle? Because even though Randle came through last night and beat the Spurs, man, that guy, he's got so much pressure, and so does Derrick Rose. And I know RJ Barrett's going to come through, but I just wonder if they make a change.
It ain't going to happen. Keith Bogans, during the 2011 season, when the Bulls had the best record in the league, started all 82 games in every single playoff game for the Chicago Bulls, and then he was out of the league literally the next season. But he started every single game, usually would only play the first few minutes of the first half, and then would never come back. Maybe that's what happens with Elfrid Payton, because Derrick Rose can't play 40 minutes a game. So I think that's a problem for the Knicks, because Tibbs is definitely going to rely heavily on him. So I don't know if you can steal 5 minutes a game, literally 5 minutes a game with Elfrid Payton. I think that's sort of the game plan. It gives you the defensive intensity theoretically out there. I mean, if I were the Knicks coach, I wouldn't be starting Elfrid Payton, but having followed Tom Thibodeau as a head coach, he's going to start Elfrid Payton. There's just nothing to do about it at this point. We're too far into it. They're both wearing number 6. I think that was the problem. Tom Thibodeau saw it's like a number 6 defensive player who can't shoot. Sign me up.
Yep.
Throw him in.
You're starting. You're getting a couple minutes.
Yeah,
and you're out.
You're getting in here.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think, Lily, at that? I mean, I don't see why you would. Yeah, I'm with you, Trey. He ain't going to change now. I mean, this is Tibbs we're talking about. And also, why would you really? If it works, it sort of works. I mean, I'm not, it sets, I guess they want to set the tone defensively there from the jump. And Peyton does help with that. I hear you. It could be Ntilikina too, who does a similar role. But what do you think, Lee?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that's what's working so far for the Knicks. This is fascinating, though, these last games here to be played, because there's so many little storylines here. Because right now, the Bucks, who are in third, and would have the tiebreaker over the Nets. But, of course, if they go into second, no. They want to avoid... Oh, man, I got this all mixed up now.
Fuck, man.
Okay,
I don't know why you try this every time.
The thing is, the Bucks right now, if the Heat lose and fall to 6, they would have to play the Heat in that first round, which I don't think the Bucks want to do. So the Heat have, I don't know. I've lost it now. I completely lost it. But the Knicks have the Hornets, so they're probably going to win that game. And the Heat actually have Milwaukee, I think.
Holy shit!
Man! It was too much. I was up too late. Too late last night.
Yeah. Too much. It was like 11 o'clock, man. I don't know how you're standing.
No, it was
right
later
now.
than that, man. It was midnight. Yeah, I went to bed, and Sebastian was in Mum's bed. I had him set up in the other spare room, or in Oscar's bedroom, but he'd snuck into the big bed with Mum, so I had to get him out. He didn't want to go. Anyway,
let me help you out. Let me just help you out.
Yeah.
Miami owns the tiebreaker over the Knicks. Okay, so if all three of these teams, the Hawks, the Heat, and the Knicks, are all tied there at the end of the regular season, it's going to be Hawks, like Taz said. If they win, they're the 4th seed because they win their division, the Southeast Division, and then the Heat would be 5th because they got the tiebreaker there with the Knicks. So you're right. The weird part is the Heat have 2 games left, and one of them is at Milwaukee, and there is this weird thing of, like we've talked before. Milwaukee probably doesn't want to see the Heat, but they're still like in jockeying for 2nd or 3rd seed there, but they don't really know who they'll end up playing there if they are the 3rd seed, because it's possible the Heat could be the 5th seed and not the 6th seed. It's a weird thing. And they finish, the Heat do, with a game on Sunday at Detroit. But if just 2 of a trio of Atlanta, New York, and Miami are tied at the end of the season, just 2 teams, there's like this weird tiebreaker situation where Atlanta wins the tiebreaker with Miami wins the tiebreaker with New York, and then New York wins the tiebreaker with Atlanta. But that's only if 2 of the 3 of those teams are tied at the end of the season. Yeah, so it's probably going to be, though, Hawks 4, I think Heat 5th, and then it looks like the Knicks will be 6th. That's what I think.
But let's say, but because the Hawks have that division tiebreaker, even if they're tied with the Knicks, who have the tiebreaker over them, the Hawks still get the 4 seed.
No. If the Heat are also not tied with them. It was like similar thing was going on with the Dallas Mavericks. If the 3 teams are tied, then yeah, there's like this you go to the division title. But if it's the 2 teams are tied, right? In this scenario, you said Hawks, Knicks. And let's say the Heat don't have the same record of those 2 teams. It's not the division title. It'd be the head-to-head situation.
Oh, so then the Hawks aren't guaranteed a 4th.
I mean, they're guaranteed a 4th because they're going to win. They're going to beat the
they're gonna
Rockets.
beat
That's
the
what's going to
Rockets.
happen.
No, but the Knicks can still tie them if they win out.
Yeah, as long as the Heat are also not tied with them as well. Does that make sense? Honestly, I think I have that right.
Yeah.
If the 3 teams are
Yeah, that's what
tied,
I'm saying. Yeah,
then
that's
we
what
go
I'm
to the
saying. So
division title, and it's the Hawks. But if the Heat have one, less win than the Hawks or the Knicks, and the Knicks, I should say, then yeah, New York wins the tiebreaker. Crazy. Why do we even have divisions?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I assume if the Hawks and Knicks were tied, that the Hawks would get there because of their division win.
They don't. If the Heat don't have the same record.
Forget about the Heat. Forget about
crazy.
the Heat. Just
Well,
talking
no,
about
that's
the
the
Hawks
important
and the
part.
Knicks.
That's what I'm telling you. That's an absolutely important part. It only goes to this weird division title tiebreaker if there's 3 teams tied. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Crazy. You all right, TK?
No, I don't give a shit about tiebreakers. Honestly, I don't
What do
care.
you mean?
I don't care because they're going to play these games. It's going to turn out. And then at the end of the season, they're going to have a list of the standings and we're going to have our playoff things. It's like, I don't know. What do they say? Don't count your chickens before they hatch. Don't figure out your tiebreakers before they're tied.
Okay, I don't mind that actual saying. That's pretty good. The wild part is here as we head into the final weekend. We've played 98% of the season, and there's only 2 teams, I believe, actually in their spot. They can't move. So Spurs, they're the 10th seed in the play-in tournament in the West, and it's the Celtics, who are the number 7 seed in the East. They can't move. That's it. Every other team, in theory, could move around. Now, that's interesting, Trey Kirby. You got to admit, that's pretty crazy. And your Bulls, of course, are even still alive here.
Hell yeah, they're still alive. I'm a big Dean Wade fan again tonight, relying on the Cleveland Cavaliers to knock off the Washington Wizards. Can they do it? Absolutely. Bulls still alive with 2 games left to play. What do you think, Lee? They're going to make it?
I
Make it
think
here?
that means the Wizards have to lose both then, I guess. Is that right?
Yep.
I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know who the Wizards are playing. I just feel they're going to steal 1.
They got the Cavs tonight. I don't know what their last game is here.
Cavs. Is that a back-to-backer then for the Cavs? I don't know.
I mean, the Cavs have won 1 of their last 12. So
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin Love's
not
on
great.
fire right now.
Kevin Love is on fire.
All right. Let's get out of the East, 4, 5, 6 spots there. It is confusing with the tiebreaker situation. Let's go to that crazy game, the finish from last night. Devin Booker's free throws help keep the Suns in the mix for the number 1 seed and the Blazers falling to 6th. Again, here, as of Friday morning here. Lee, take it away. What did you think about the foul call, man?
Yeah, it was a foul. Powell got Devin Booker on the arm, so no problem with that.
Yeah.
But you sort of really have to wind back a little bit here because it was just a wild ending. And the Blazers, if they won this game, would have secured a non-play-in tournament spot, which was huge for them. And they were tied with 1:32 to go. Robert Covington goes to the loneliest place in the world, makes it his friend, knocks down a pair of free throws. Blazers take the lead. Down the other end, Dario Saric gets fouled. He splits a pair. Suns down 1. Blazers get the ball back. CJ McCollum misses a floater and then fouls Saric, who goes back because the Blazers are in the penalty to the free throw line. Saric clunks both. The Blazers still lead. Then Lillard goes down and scores, puts the Blazers up 3, 35 seconds to go. Basically home. They're home, aren't they? Surely. No, they're not home at all. Because then Mikal Bridges gets fouled. That's a foul. He makes both. Then Damian Lillard goes down the other end. 10 seconds to go. The Blazers still up by 1. And Lillard clunks a 3, no doubt about it on that one. But then the Suns have the ball, but then Devin Booker turns it over with a double dribble travel sort of thing there. Looks like he tried to sort of say, the ball was dispossessed, but they got the call right there. He definitely traveled. So the Blazers have the ball and they have possession. They're up by 1 with 5 seconds to go. Robert Covington gets fouled. He's just made a pair. I just told you he was at the loneliest place in the world and he made it his friend and he clunks a pair. So the Suns have a chance to win, and that's when it goes to Devin Booker, who gets fouled by Norman Powell. Blazers challenge. They didn't like the call, but it was a foul. Devin Booker knocks him in, and then it still wasn't over because CJ McCollum gets the ball. He went backcourt. He should have been called for a violation, but I think they just said, who cares at this point? Let's just end this game. But he missed the shot anyway, so the refs were saved from that one. But the Suns pull out the victory by a point, and the Blazers lose another 1-point game, an absolute heartbreaker. But practice those free throws, kids, because this one was just a wild, wild end there that no team wanted to win at the end. But yeah, so on first look, I thought Devin Booker didn't get fouled, but the replay.
Oh yeah, when you're just watching in real time, I was like, "There's no way that's a foul."
Yeah.
But you, of course, see other replays, other camera angles. And you're like, "Okay, yeah, there's contact." Yeah,
he reaches in, gets the foul, and then he has to step to the line where no one wants to be in that last 10 seconds, and he knocks him in. So well done to the Phoenix Suns. They keep their hopes alive of potentially holding on to that number one spot. For the Blazers, it's like, could have just put them into safety, but instead they got to keep on fighting now.
Yeah. Tass, what do you think of the call there? The decision by Stotts to challenge ultimately was sort of big because then they didn't get it overturned, so they lose the timeout, and then they couldn't advance the ball, right? With a couple of seconds there, though Stotts was saying they added time, and he was like, well, I wouldn't have challenged if that was the case. It was this big thing. But what do you think?
Well, yeah, after getting through all that tiebreaker business, let's get to the best game of the night. This is definitely the best game of the night, and it was wild going down the stretch there. I just think they have to change this play-in tournament rule. I don't think we need to have a play-in tournament for the 7th and 8th seeds, because now we're not going to see one of these guys, whether it's LeBron, Anthony Davis, or Damian Lillard, for a full series to start this thing. Like one team, it's fine to play for the 8th seed for me, but I want to see Damian Lillard in the playoffs. And now after this loss, there's a good chance that Damian Lillard has to go into the play-in tournament. And yeah, he can make it out and all that, but I don't know. I just think let's play for one spot. I think that's enough. And yeah, going down the stretch here, Terry Stotts kind of got screwed. He said that 0.9 seconds was sort of a threshold for him where he would challenge, and then that was his desperation attempt. But if there was 2.4 seconds left on the clock, like the refs added after they didn't overturn the call, then he may have just played it with the timeout. They advance and they have another shot, because Damian Lillard, and why I talk about the play-in tournament, is he's playing like Dame against the Thunder a couple of years ago in the bye-bye series on both sides of the floor. I think we had that little hiatus last year where they got screwed. They had a long season. Then they went to the play-in tournament after the COVID stoppage. So we didn't see that Dame, but now we're seeing that Dame. He had 21 points in the fourth quarter in this game. 21 because he was taking off-balance shots. He was nuts. And this Blazers team has been playing so well. They're 9-2 now in their last 11. And yeah, it went down to a couple free throws with some ticky-tacky fouls all over the frickin' place. It was kind of a draining end there after a deflating end, after a great fourth. But man, Dame is ready to take this team deep if he can get there. But now I really think as he goes and plays Jokic on Sunday, there's a good chance that the Lakers take the Blazers spot. If Denver beats the Blazers, the Lakers just got to take care of their own, and then Dame's in the tournament against Steph most likely in the first game.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because the Nuggets are still playing for something, as I pointed out, because everybody's still playing for playoff positioning here, that they want to get to that 3rd seed, keep the 3rd seed. So maybe they'll give it a best effort, right, against the Blazers, because otherwise you might have one of these things where it's like, well, Denver's got nothing to play for, and shut down Jokic, get him some more rest, shut down so-and-so, and then it's an easy Blazers win in theory. But that maybe won't be the case. We'll see what Denver does. What do you think about Tass's comments there, though, Trey? Like the idea of like, do we need this for the 7th and 8th seed? Should it just be the 8th seed to play in? Like, what's your take on that? I'm loving it because I like that it gets the top 6 to want to actually sort of move forward and focus on that, as we've talked about endlessly here on the podcast last couple of weeks. But what do you think?
I guess I didn't realize Tass was such a big Blazers fan, because that's a homer kind of take. Now that Damian Lillard might be in the play-in tournament, we don't like the 7th and 8th seeds playing for it. Curious, Tassie. I think the play-in tournament has been awesome. And as we're going to get to here in a little bit, we've still got to play in for the play-in tournament. So, I mean, the Blazers need to win one game if they're in the play-in tournament. That's the same as anybody. So in a one-game scenario, a lot of people are taking Damian Lillard, even if he's going up against Steph Curry. It'll be tough, but I don't know. I think it's exciting. You have to have these opinions while the playoff seeds are in the air, as Stan Van Gundy would say. Right? The complaints while the Seeds are in the air.
Yeah, I want the best of both worlds. So you can still have a play-in tournament for the 8th seed. It's just listen, you go and lace them up for 6 months every single freaking day, and then at the end of it, even though we're 10 games above 500, we can just be eliminated in one game. It's just I'm trying to find the balance here. It stinks. It stinks for the 6 months that you put into it, and then you get bounced. So I'm just trying to find obviously it makes the end of the season more exciting. We played 70 games. It's going to be 80 games next year. And then we can be eliminated in a single game. That was fun.
Well, no, you can't be eliminated in a single game if you're the 7th seed. You do get 2 chances at it.
You get 2. I apologize. Right. 82 plus 2 instead of 82 plus 1. You're right.
What do you think, Lee?
No, I think it's been great. I really do for the league because there is so much uncertainty still this close to the playoffs. And I think this is really the idea of it is you mentioned there, the only 2 teams can't move. One is the 10th seeded San Antonio Spurs and the other one's the Celtics. So there's so much possibility that could still happen over this last weekend, which is what the NBA wants. They want that excitement. You don't want to be coming into the playoffs kind of like we have done in the past where it's like it's a bit of a foregone conclusion. We've sort of seen these matchups unfolding for the last couple of weeks. We still don't really know who's going to face each other. So that's good for the league, I think. And, I think the success of it down in Orlando last year with the Blazers and the Grizzlies, it was great. And that's given the NBA the encouragement to say, all right, well, let's expand it and see what's happening. And it doesn't mean it's going to be this way forever. But I think while you've got something that worked, you want to try to make the most of it. And that's what they're doing. So, the fact, again, like the Bulls and the Wizards, two teams that have kind of been, up and down this season are still a chance to play and they still want to get into that tournament. I think that's the idea here for the NBA is so that people don't just write off these teams. Now, obviously, we don't expect those teams to come in and really do a whole lot of damage, but it still creates the excitement, which is what this whole idea is all about. So I enjoy it. I think it's been fun.
So the Suns still have a shot at the number 1 seed, by the way, and into the weekend here. And I said the Nuggets and Clippers, they go into the weekend fighting for the 3-4 spots. And of course, we got the Blazers trying to stay out of the play-in. They lose to the Nuggets and the Lakers win those final 2 games, like Tess said. Then that puts Portland back to 7th there. They have a chance still at the 5th seed, Portland does. They're a game back at Dallas, but they need a Mavs loss to either the Raptors, who obviously have Mailman in this season, or the Wolves in one of their last 2 games. So lots to watch here, and I'm not going to bring up tiebreaker situations in the West. I don't want to upset my man TK at all. I'm not going to count those chickens at all.
The last thing I want to say about this game, at the very end, I think it was Robert Covington who was throwing the inbounds pass, right, for the Blazers. I think it went to CJ McCollum. Usually in these scenarios where you have no play, basically, right? They had 2 seconds, they had no timeouts. It's usually like a Grant Hill chuck to Christian Laettner, 3/4 of the court. Robert Covington threw the hardest bounce pass I've ever seen. This guy rocketed it 50 feet as a bounce pass and went underneath arms and legs and stuff and actually got to CJ McCollum. You don't see that very often. It's usually the chuck, and that gives people a chance to make a play on it. It seemed like Covington kind of caught the Suns off guard by going off the floor. I wonder if that's something players should try more at the end of the game.
Hadn't thought about that. Yeah. McCollum ultimately didn't get the shot off, did he?
I don't think so.
I know it wasn't.
Oh, it was mellow. It was mellow, thanks to
okay, there you go.
A fella.
It was mellow, thanks to a fella.
KLVPH in the stream team. It's hard to just roll off the tongue. Sorry, bud.
Yeah. Change your YouTube username there.
Killed.
All right. Final game that we want to touch on here from last night. Dylan Brooks scores 30 as the Grizzlies overcome the Kings 116-110. Couple takeaways from this. Trey, I've been on a lot of Top Shot podcasts over the last couple of days. I keep getting asked as we head into the playoffs, who's going to be like this version's Tyler Hero, who obviously went nuts in the bubble last year. His Top Shot prices skyrocketed.
Sure.
It's a difficult question. I just keep coming back to guys in the playoffs for the first time, but they're more star players, like a Devin Booker, a Trae Young. I did say Bogdanovich is maybe sort of a potential to be a bubble hero, if you want to call it that. But what about Dylan Brooks? Let's get crazy. Could Dylan Brooks pop off in a big play-in game or 2 for 30 or 35? It could happen. The guy gets hot. He also gets ice cold at times, but just put him down there, add him to the list of potential guys who could maybe have a performance or 2 to shock the world or get everybody's attention. But felt good about Valanciunas. I had him on my All-NBA 5th team as my center on yesterday's podcast. Came through once again, 24-13. Big game from JV. Almost wonder if I have him too low at this point. But that Grizzlies win, this is the big takeaway. We'll get to the Kings in a second. But the Grizzlies win sets the stage for a Sunday showdown. Sunday with Golden State for the 8th seed. This is awesome. The teams split their 2 games earlier this season. So this is the final game, of course, between the two. It's the 3rd game. It will decide things here. They have an identical 37-33 record. And even if the Warriors enter this game against the Grizzlies with a 1-game lead, a win by Memphis on Sunday gives them the advantage because they would have the tiebreaker. So very excited that the play-in, like you said, TK, it's starting almost a day or two earlier with deciding who's going to be the 8th seed and then who's going to be the 9th seed, which is great.
All right, Skeets, I just dipped in here because I had to see, what did Dylan Brooks do in the play-in game last year? 20 points on 7 of 18 shooting, 4 for 5 from 3-point line.
Hell
That's
yeah.
not bad. He could be a bubble hero if you want. What would you call it? Play-in Brooks? I don't know. Do or die Dylan? Something like that.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I don't know. He's a streaky guy, but they've got this game against the Warriors. Then they'll obviously be in the play-in tournament in some form or fashion. It's at least 2 games. You probably are getting one good Dylan Brooks one there, and he's going to be playing physically, defensively as well. Sure, talk me into it, buddy. I'm all for it, and yeah, it's going to be exciting to see a play-in game for the play-in tournament, like John Schumann called it on Twitter last night. Very similar to Timberwolves versus Nuggets a few seasons back.
Mm-hmm.
Only this one is a little bit less stakes, I would say, but I don't know, getting to the 8th seed, that's going to be nice because 1 win is a lot easier than 2 wins.
Yeah, for sure. So that goes down on Sunday, that the Grizzlies-Warriors game. We also found out, remember we were talking about, wow, the NBA is going to put all these games at the same time, basically, in a 3-hour window on Sunday. From 12 to 3 it was. Well, so much for that. That is not happening. They got some pushback from the teams and the doctors' tasks and said, no, we're not doing that. For some of these squads, it would have been a really quick turnaround with some of these back-to-back situations. So it's a little bit more spread out on Sunday, which I guess for the if you want to see a lot of the games, it's maybe better, but it does lose that soccer relegation sort of window we've talked about before there, where everybody's playing at the same time. But I guess it makes a little sense. There was going to be some quick turnarounds.
Yeah, and guys, we're going to start at like 9 o'clock local time.
Yeah.
That's why they got pissed. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, that's usually when we're going through our stretching. That's before our nap. That's before we get to the arena. So it makes sense to me why you'd push it. I don't get this, like this chaos window. I get, because everybody doesn't know where they're ending, but you can still do that later in the day, like they do every Wednesday of the final Wednesday of every year. But they're not doing that this year. Why is that the case? They're kind of spacing them out all over Sunday.
Probably just because it was on a weekend.
Yeah,
is the answer. It's like they don't want Sunday night games. You're right. It's usually on a Wednesday night when the regular season ends. That's my guess, at least. But not doing that. You're gonna have basketball all weekend long. This is a crazy weekend for hoops. We got the Basketball Hall of Fame ceremony, the 2021 that was delayed, of course, because of COVID, with Kobe, and KG and Duncan and Tamika Catchings and all that going in. WNBA season tips tonight. We got all these games to try and figure out in the playoff matchup. My God, Lily.
You want to play basketball too, didn't you?
Yeah, we're hooping this weekend too. We're playing. Hell, we might play some spike ball and basketball this week. Let's do it. Let's live a little, man. We're vaxxed to the max. Let's go, buddy. Tess, I got to ask you. I meant to do this before the show. Are the Kings involved in Worst of the Week at all?
Nope.
Okay, well, let's get to the Kings really quickly. Yeah, I thought they might be, and I forgot to ask you. But I want to talk about Sacramento very briefly here because they had a chance to, by the way, still stay alive last night with a win over Memphis because the Spurs lost to the Knicks and the Kings were like the Bulls, technically still alive. They had to win outright, and Memphis closed the game with a 12-0 run, and goodbye, Sacramento. So for the 15th straight season, the Kings will miss the postseason. That ties the NBA record set by the 77-91 Clippers for the longest in NBA history. It's wild when you think, especially Tass and JD, the last time the Kings were in the playoffs was the first year we started this podcast. Think about that. We started in 06 January, and that would have been the 05-06 season is when Sacramento was in. So we started the podcast. We were probably talking about the Kings in the playoffs for that 1 year, and then they haven't been back since. That is actually amazing in this type of league where it feels like every team task makes the playoffs.
That's a good point. Yeah, when the Kings made the playoffs in 06, I thought they'd be there every single season. In fact, I said that on episode 005 way back when.
Yeah.
This is the beginning of a new dynasty.
Yeah, it's nuts. The Kings have had 10 head coaches during this drought. Lily, Sam Quinn from CBS Sports, he pointed out some notable draft decisions from this period. Kings fans, maybe do the earmuffs right here. Tyreek Evans over Steph Curry. Bismack Biyombo over Klay Thompson, Thomas Robinson over Lillard, Ben McLemore over Giannis, Nick Stauskas over Zach LaVine, Willie Cauley-Stein over Devin Booker, Marvin Bagley over Luka. That's just the tip of the iceberg. I actually cut out a lot of them. Man, that's rough. I know you can do that with a lot of teams, but especially for the Kings here. One King has made the All-Star game during this drought. Trivia question. Who was it?
DeMarcus Cousins.
There you go, Lily. I thought you get that one pretty easy.
And they traded him at the All-Star game, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
It's just a wild run here that it's 15 years. That is a long time. 2006, Twitter was born in 2006. Lee, can you name the #1 movie in 2006? We actually talked about the type of hat on last night's charity drive. That's a hell of a giveaway.
Type of hat.
Yeah. I learned a thing about this hat, actually.
Like the Russian hat? Is that the
No,
one?
not Russian. It was a tricorn hat.
Oh, was it Gangs of New York? No.
No, who wears the tricorn hat?
Oh, gotta be Jack
Pirates
Sparrow.
of the Caribbean.
That's right. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest.
That was the #1 movie.
I mean, on some list I saw, yeah. He didn't win the Oscar or anything like that.
Was that the first one in the? Because there's 4. Is it 4 in Pirates of the Caribbean?
I don't know. I don't know, Lee. Night at the Museum is up there. Cars was up there.
Yeah. Right.
The first one. This is 2006. Lee, I also looked up the top Billboard, Hot 100 singles of 2006. I was shocked that this was the #1 song, again, according to Billboard's top Hot 100 song of 2006. Can anybody name it? I'm pretty sure this guy was a one-hit wonder. I learned today he was Canadian. I had no idea.
Robin Thicke?
No.
Was it him?
No.
Not a bad guess.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to hum you this song, and you try and tell me
Here we go.
the artist.
Daniel Powder? Is that
That's
name?
his name.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was that guy's name. That
was
was
a
the
day.
Yeah.
Your team is the Kings. They're not gonna make the playoffs for 15 years.
Wow.
Great tune.
You had a bad decade and a half. That was the #1 song. Tass, you'll like #2. I've seen you dance to this jam. Temperature by Sean Paul.
Classic.
Then we have Promiscuous by Nelly Furtado featuring Timbaland. You're Beautiful.
Canadians
James
rocking
Blunt.
that.
Yeah, I know.
Really?
Yeah, you're right. You're Beautiful by James Blunt. And then Lee, one of your favorite songs. Can you guess it? You love this artist.
Mariah Carey, We Belong Together?
Nope. It's
I love this
a
artist.
beautiful woman.
Rihanna.
No.
Oh, Beyonce.
She was no. You like
What other
to
beautiful women do I know?
Yeah.
Well, he's talked about this beautiful woman before for sure.
Hips don't lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Wycliffe Jean is in that, isn't he?
Gene.
What's his name?
Jeans.
Wycliffe cargo shorts.
Baby, when you talk like that, it just makes a woman go mad.
All right, so shout out to all the Kings fans out there. Okay, let's get to worst of the week.
Ladies and gentlemen, the worst of the week.
This week's worst of the week has nothing to do with the NBA. It's us. for quite a hodgepodge of a performance on Wednesday's Beach Step-In episode. It was a wild, herky-jerky, non-professional, just a nutbag of an episode. And JD put together the highlights, or more like the lowlights. So have a listen, have a watch.
Well, he mentions Ken's French fries, that was a famous I can't think of the word right now. What do you call the trucks that have food in the food truck? These are the type of fries you eat with a fork. They give you that cute little spoon fork. Remember those?
A spork.
Yeah, spork.
It wasn't really a spork. No, I will not accept spork. There was nothing spoon-like about it. It was a fork with a little wooden fork.
With a little wooden spoon.
No, you cannot spoon anything with this thing. Maybe ice cream.
You said it was a spoon fork.
I did? No,
You said that little like spoon fork.
What?
I said a spork.
How dare you? Hold on.
There's no spoon.
Rewind the tape. I didn't say that.
But I'm still holding on to my butt coin. You know, the Jimmy Butler cryptocurrency for anybody who wants to work hard and be the man. I bought it back in 2011 pretty cheap.
Hey, when did you buy that? 2011? Is that what you said? Everybody in the stream team is like, did he say 2011?
Did I say 2011?
Yeah, you did. I heard it too. I'm like, what the hell is that? Yeah. Awesome.
What did this place start in 2011?
Uncle Fred? Is that you?
Hey, there it is. Jim Beam is here. Hey!
Oh boy.
Anyways, we're such sellouts. We're already putting out the Jim Beam. Are we even sponsored by them, or did we just
does
get
anybody know
bottles?
why we got sent a bunch of Jim Beam?
TBD, to be announced or whatever. Who knows? I don't even know if they've paid us yet.
I mean, we are just like, we can't get anything right today. TBD, to be announced.
Yeah.
I mean,
Didn't know if I was going there.
coins here. Let me shake them.
Well,
There you go. There you have it.
Oh,
That's a
man.
smattering of the crazy moments. So TBA, to be determined whether or not that will be a classic or we'll go down in lore as just a bonkers episode. Yeah, the mailbag episode from Wednesday, if you didn't catch it.
Yeah, that almost doesn't even get across how insane that podcast was.
Yeah.
I mean, those are great highlights. Great job there, JD. But, there's the whole part where Lee's just leaving the stream. He's got his doorbell going. Yeah, I mean, it was wild right from the jump. So we got worst of the week to end the regular season.
I didn't include the doorbell going off because it's just the doorbell going off. It's not that nuts. But Lee had to get up because it was a special delivery. It wasn't Uncle Fred. He was worried maybe Uncle Fred, my normal mailman, something happened to him.
Yeah.
I gotta go see.
Well, something did happen to Uncle Fred a couple of weeks ago. I went to get the mail and his truck was there, and I thought I'll go and say hello to him. And he was sitting down in the van, like hunched over like that. And I said, well, I call him Jeff now because I know his name. When I'm with the boys, we still call him Uncle Fred. I said, Jeff, you okay there? And he's like, oh yeah, man, I just hit my head on there was a bar in the mail thing. I said, well, are you okay? And he was kind of dazed there. I said, yeah, do you think you need to go to the doctor there, Fred? And he's like, oh, Jeff. And he's like,
fingers.
Yeah.
Do you remember your name?
He's like, no, I'm good, man. So he got up and he just kept on working because he's a trooper like that. But I was really concerned. I've never seen him sort of not with just great energy and full of life. And it must have been a serious blow. But I've seen him back a few times. He's great. He's looking great again. He always daps up everyone, including the boys. Everyone loves him. He's great.
Good. Thankfully, I didn't go to the hospital because you would have had trouble finding him. I'm looking for Fred. Where's Fred? No Fred here.
Looking for my uncle.
Uncle Fred. He's great.
Yeah, I guess they have the bar in between the front and the back, right? That they probably hang on to and just swing on back there. And maybe if you make a mistake, that bar's just right there, ready for your noggin.
Yeah. Those old mail trucks, man, they're tanks too.
But this is not that old. It's it's a fairly modern vehicle actually. So maybe he just wasn't used to it. Maybe that was it.
Maybe that was it.
Yeah. Someone's saying we need a selfie of Fred and Lee. I've got one.
No, don't worry, he's already got that. Okay. Let's not get crazy here. Let's keep this.
Let's keep charging. Obviously, you have a picture. You took a picture outside of his mail truck at some point. Hopefully, he upgrades to one of those cool ones that looks like a Pixar vehicle. A little bit safer. It sounds like. Yep.
Yeah, good comment from Jared Dryden. That vehicle is from 2011.
All right, did you find it, Lee? You want to show it to us here?
Yeah, it's coming. And as always, things go slow when you need them to move fast. But where is it?
Okay, Lee, why don't you talk to me about? Well, I should say we've been running this ad all week long. This Death at the Wing podcast, right? And you've dipped in, you said, and you're loving it. Just as much as Tassie was, yeah.
Yeah, because technically I was born in the 70s, but, I really came alive in the mid-80s. That's when I fell in love with basketball and the NBA. And anyone who's familiar with our podcast knows that I grew up in Australia and getting access to highlights was difficult. But when I finally got hold of the 87 All-Star game on VHS, changed my life because the NBA in the 80s had it all. Glitz and glamour of the Showtime Lakers, led by Magic Johnson, the effortless beauty of Dr. J, Julius Erving, and, of course, we had the Bad Boys Pistons breakthrough. And some say still that the Boston Celtics had perhaps the greatest team ever assembled when they won the championship in 1986. So for me, the new podcast out right now called Death at the Wing, hosted by Adam McKay, the writer and director of The Big Short, great movie, Vice, and Anchorman, is great because despite all the incredibly great moments and stories that happened in that decade, there was also a darker side to the league too. And McKay is joined by some of the journalists who lived through those times to take you deep into some of the tragedies that occurred. Probably the biggest one being the high-profile death of Celtics number 2 pick in 1986, Len Bias. Some thought he could have been perhaps the best rival for Michael Jordan. Obviously a tragedy. But McKay explores how and why this happened and what it meant in a broader sense for what was unfolding in America in the 80s. And that's the part of it that I found fascinating. This wasn't, there's so much more to it than just all of a sudden guy just went home and overdosed and died who was a number 2 pick. It was something else happening in America. So, it's a bit of a heavy listen, but it's a basketball podcast that, stays on the rails a bit and doesn't end up wondering what you call a truck that has food in it. So I really encourage you to go and listen to it because it's really well put together. So search for Death at the Wing wherever you get your podcasts and start listening.
All right. There it is. Comes highly recommended here from the No Dunks crew.
This past week, to the latest episode, Chuck D, who I'm listening to on the Shattered podcast.
Yeah, so am I.
He was the star guest along with Bomani Jones on Death at the Wing, and they went back and forth about the culture in the 80s. So that was a badass episode. I will say, Len Bias, what I didn't remember about was that he wasn't into hard drugs, whatever. He wasn't part of that 80s, the cocaine epidemic, but it happened to him one night, 2 days after being drafted, enjoying himself. Because he thought, as he said, I'm a horse. I can take it. And he had one terrible, terrible, terrible experience. And there it went. It was. Adam McKay gets into the snowball effect of everything that happens afterwards and the trickle-down effect. But it was a great, great listen. And, there's one more episode. So I'm looking forward to that this week. And they continuously still talk about George Mikan and what a wild man George Mikan was back in his day. Every episode, even in the credits of this past
roll
episode.
The clip, JD. Roll the clip. I'm just kidding. All right, so go check for Death at the Wing, the podcast. You can find that wherever you listen to probably No Dunks, that's for sure. Okay, tweet of the week. Tweet of the night. You know what I mean.
Tweet of the night. Wow.
Twitter.
Tweet of the night goes to Giannis Antetokounmpo, 40 points, one of them on a huge jam. And as he came down from the jam, he landed and he flexed as hard as he possibly could. And the photo of him flexing is a good one. And so it's him flexing. It's him sort of kind of craning his neck forward, really straining. And he took to social media afterward. And he added the caption to this photo, "I almost pooped." Poop emoji. Which is great because it surely looks like a very strenuous situation.
Oh God, I hope that's not how he's taking it.
You never know.
You never know. Things are not going well.
No, not a good one. Not a good one. It's not a 4 morning poop situation. It's more like a 1 week poop type of strain. But then friends of the program, Dude Wipes, chimed in with a reply. We got you covered, is what they said back to him. And Giannis, he loved this photo so much. He didn't just put it on Twitter. He put it on Instagram too. He must have loved this photo a bunch. I follow him, I think, on every platform. I don't really see him cross-platform this way, so he must have loved this. Usually he's a one medium type of guy. But him and his girlfriend Mariah announced that they're having their second baby very soon, so congrats to them. She's pregnant with their second child. And when he brought that up, he brought the pooping up, I could see his son Liam in him. They look very similar. And I just think about my kids and when they poop. And it's, one of the great experiences of being a dad, seeing a kid strain, really squeezing out a poop. You just I feel it. I empathize. Get it out, kid. Get it out. It's such a great experience. I'm sure as you dads know, it's just the best part. I mean, you guys are past that stage. You guys are all done with the straining poop phase.
Our kids are done pooping at this point. I would love to see an update, though, to, there's that classic kids book, Everybody Poops. Throw in a page at the end, even 2-time MVPs.
Yeah.
Throw that flexing picture. Sometimes it's hard for all of us.
Oh, man, he is jacked, eh? Like when you see a photo like that lately.
Oh, my goodness.
Moly. Like I know he's a giant dude, but when he's got every single muscle rippling there as he's screaming because he's dunking all over guys last night. Anything to add to that great photo there and caption from Giannis?
Well, it's like the meme of that kid in school, isn't it? Where he's holding on because he's sitting next to the girl. It's it's kind of that's what I thought when I saw it.
I think Trey dropped that meme yesterday on me after my All NBA teams.
Yeah, furious guy trying to hold it in. That's exactly what it looks like.
All right. Shout out to Giannis winning tweet of the night. Okay, we're almost done here. We do have some rapid fire questions. Let's get to the pick'em results brought to you by BetMGM, though. Last night's game, Sixers Heat. Philly was favored by 1.5, and they did not win. No, they continue to lose here. They do. I don't know. Do they want this number 1 seed? What's going on? But I swerved. I took Philly. That's a loss for me. It doesn't really matter here because we've got a nice little race between Tass and Lee at the bottom. Trey's 8-1 because you got it right. You guys got it. The game correct with the Heat pick there. So good job, everybody. But we got Trey 8-1. I'm 5-4. Lee's 4-5, and Tass is 3-6. So we're down to the final night here in terms of our May, mini pick'em. This is it. So we're either going to end up tied, or Tass will be giving some money to charity of his choice. So let's find out what the game is. Tass, where are you going, man?
Yeah, this game I don't necessarily care about because I'm definitely donating to the AAPI charity that we choose. No doubt about that. I care more about the Toronto Raptors just getting this frickin' season over with. They're going into Dallas. They're plus 13.5. Giving up. They can lose by 13 points and still cover this game. It's a wild line. I'm just waiting for the day that these guys can go home, and so are they. They only have 2 games left, and one of them is key. They this Mavericks one. Mavericks here. They want to finish 5th. They want to finish as high as possible. I don't know if you guys saw that weird story, just as an aside here, about Cuban saying Porzingis and Doncic don't really get along off the floor. I thought that was something strange. He was just on Dallas radio as well, so it's not like, I don't know. He knew what he was saying. It wasn't just off the cuff. This is a man who's done a lot of media in the day, so I'm just surprised he compared him to Dirk and Jason Terry, saying they're good on the floor, but they had to get to know each other off the floor. And I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm listening to Shattered, but you don't piss off the zinger. I don't think you do that. Anyway, everything seems fine, but I'm looking forward to how they go into the playoffs, and not a lot of close lines. So I went with this Mavs one, minus 13.5. Lee, you want to take the reins on this one?
Yeah, sure. I'm going to be donating as well, $500 to the AAPI, no matter what happens. I'll take the Mavs. I don't even know if the Raptors, if anyone's playing, and the Mavs kind of need to win, but they don't need to bury the Raptors. So anyway, I'll take the Mavs because I don't think they win by that much.
Okay. Skeets, what do you got?
I'll take the Raptors, man. Raptors are going to cover this line. Come on. They got some guys that are obviously playing for more opportunity. Seems too big to me. Mavericks will win, but I don't know if they're going to win by like 13, 14, 15 points here. I think it could be a 10-point game. So yeah, give me Toronto Raptors. We're not going to see Kyle Lowry in a Raps game anymore, are we? It was going to be that Lakers game as his final game. Is that right? I mean, he's not playing. Why would he play? He's not going to play in these final 2 games. That's crazy.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sad about that. But yeah, give me the Raps. What do you got, Trey?
Yeah, I would go with the Raptors too. I mean, they lost to the Bulls by 12 in Chicago. Now they got to go on the road again. It's tough, but 2 really bad losses in a row. Certainly possible, but Toronto. Give me Toronto.
Yeah, this is their NBA Finals. Give me the Raps to lose by 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1.
Okay. There it is. Lee, you're the only one taking the Mavericks. I forgot you got that cameo money that you're going to donate some of it. So this is great. We got 2 guys probably donating here. I love it. I love it. Okay, let's end this Drop podcast. Let's end this crazy week in No Dunks history with a little rapid fire fun. Take it away, TK.
Well, on Wednesday's Beach Step-In, it was a wild one. We just showed you some of the classics. 2011 teen, TBD, to be announced. Lee answering the door, popping bottles. Tass had everybody showing coins on camera. Skeets blessed us with a couple of all-timers. What do you call trucks that have food in them? And this gem.
These are the type of fries you eat with a fork. They give you that cute little spoon fork. Remember those?
A spork.
Yeah, spork.
It wasn't really a spork. No, I will not accept spork. There was nothing spoon-like about it.
I love how offended you are that somebody would even suggest a spork. No.
It's so weird because I didn't think I said spoon fork. I obviously do in the clip, but I didn't think I said it. I think I wanted to say wooden fork.
Yeah, like a shovel kind of fork.
Yeah, I guess.
Or whatever you call it. Anyways, the question for you guys, Skeets, JD, Lee, what's your favorite utensil, Skeets?
Spoon fork.
A spork?
No, just a fork. I saw
just
a straight up fork. Yeah. There's nothing spoon about the utensil I just said.
Oh my goodness.
No, honestly, my answer is straight up fork. No spoon element.
Straight up fork.
Straight up fork, man, because you can cut with a fork. Cuts like a fork. You don't need a knife a lot of times. I know it depends with what you're not going to cut a steak with a fork. I get that, but a lot of the times I don't like to make another dirty dish or utensil when I don't need to. So I'm a lot of Nora's like, you want a fork? I'm like, or excuse me, you want a knife? I'm like, no, I don't need it for this. I'll just use the fork.
Just a fork.
I just don't want to wash it. Yeah. So straight up fork for me. Straight up now fork.
Straight up now fork me. Do you really want to spoon me forever? All right, JD, what's your favorite utensil?
This is gonna be very pretentious, but chopsticks.
Oh,
that's nice.
I love them. I love any chance I get to use chopsticks. I jump at the chance. I'm not great at it, but it's just fun. It's fun to eat sushi or noodles or just like whatever, man.
Sticky rice is a lot of fun to eat with just chopsticks. Yeah,
exactly. Because it's not great either at it. But, and then you get to pull the bowl up and do this. It's great. It's great. So chopsticks.
Okay. Do you have like real chopsticks? You know what I'm saying? Like a metal set or something that you keep?
I've got some like they're wood, but they're nice. They're like treated and
you're keeping them.
Wash them by hand. Yeah. And it's got like a little soy sauce matching thing to go with it, and a little I don't know what you would call it, but it's the little wooden block that keeps it off the table. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So good.
Wow, great choice. Nice choice. Lee, what's your favorite utensil?
Is a chef's knife a utensil?
I don't think you would eat with it.
Yeah, I know. It's just I use it for cutting everything because it feels so great in your hand.
What do you got? What are you using?
It's what do you mean? What I'm using? It's a TJ Maxx special that I picked up, but it's so super sharp. But I cut everything with it: mushrooms, pears, apples. It just feels great in your hand because it just slices through so effortlessly. But I was
like, it's like a fork, does it?
But I'm like, I think a utensil is more what you eat with, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I asked Nora, like, what should I answer for this? And she was like, she said tongs. And I was like, tongs are a great utensil, but I'm like, I don't know if that's where we're going here.
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah. I mean, I love a good
I guess they are utensils, but I was thinking more, like you're saying, Lee, eating utensils.
Yeah. Well, in that case, I'll go with the miso soup spoon. You know, that little...
great one.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah.
I love
That's
that
pretty
spoon.
sexy.
A
Yeah.
big flat spoon.
Yeah. Okay.
Good one. All right. Also this week, we saw a very strange Phoenix Suns Garfield mashup jersey. Apparently, there is a jacket that matches this as well.
Amazing.
Oh, shout out to Ziggy Starfox who sent in a bunch of these jersey mashups as well with cartoon characters. We retweeted them earlier this week. Go ahead and check those out. My question to you guys: who's your favorite fictional cat? Skeets.
Do you remember Baby Puss from the Flintstones?
Not particularly.
Yeah, it was their pet. It was the saber-toothed cat.
Okay.
And what I remember is like you always saw Baby Puss was the name of the saber-toothed cat. You always saw him or her, I guess, in the like opening and closing credits, but rarely in the actual episodes.
Yeah.
Because there was like always that little thing like Fred failing to like put Baby Puss outside.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and it was always in the credits, but you just almost never, I think, saw the actual cat, the prehistoric cat, the saber-toothed tiger, in the episodes. It was all the Dino or whatever. So
Bit of a cat cameo.
yeah, but I like that cat, and it's a great name.
Great name, Baby Puss.
Yeah.
JD, favorite fictional cat.
I'm going classic. Sylvester from the Looney Tunes. He's got, he's always after that bird, never gets him. And he's just hilarious. And Mel Blanc, he's the best, the greatest voiceover artist of all time. So yeah, Sylvester, the cat.
Coming back this summer, probably in Space Jam, right? You'd have to imagine.
Yeah, I would think so.
Great year for cats. Lee, favorite fictional cat.
I'm going with Snowball from The Simpsons. I think there's been a few different Snowballs over the years, but they've made quite a character out of Snowball. So,
I can't believe you're not going with you love the Smurfs, I thought.
Oh, yeah. What's his name? Gargamel's cat is what's his
what
name?
is the Azrael?
Azrael.
Yeah, you've talked about that cat before.
Oh.
There's still time to change your answer.
Yeah.
Or what about
Should we start the podcast again?
Austin Powers?
Run it back.
Cat.
Mr.
Mr.
Bigglesworth.
Bigglesworth.
Yeah.
For sure. I had that at top of my list, and I was like, nah, Lee's got to have that one. He's gonna take that.
Well, I didn't really think of that. I know it is a fictional cat, but I was thinking more of a cartoon cat.
Yeah.
But yeah, Azrael.
Gonna be living with that all weekend. Man, it's gonna be tough. We're gonna hear about it on Monday. Our final rapid fire question comes from @RoyIsTheBoy on Twitter. Anderson Wild Thing Varejao has made a sudden return to the league after a 4-year absence for one final go around. Come on, Andy, big stuff tonight for the Cavs, my Cavs. Guys, what is something from your past that you've recently revisited after being away from it for years? Skeets.
Reading books. I went a couple years there. It felt like not reading a single book, but I'm trying to get back into it. It started with, or not started, but like this really was a great read. Ben Gulliver's Bubble Ball. We had him on not too long ago. Awesome. Flew through this. Love this book, but there's more. Great Dr. J autobiography. All right. I'm into this one now. Fantastic stuff. Highly recommend so far, at least. Going to take down this one. Bravey, Alexi Pappas. Greek ties here, Tassie. She runs for the national team. Excited to read this. And then I want to give a shout out to my buddy Tim. You guys know Tim. This book is called Coming To. I tried to read one page of this book and I didn't understand a single thing he was saying because he's a brilliant guy. He's a professor at the University of Chicago. I obviously bought this book to support my buddy Tim. But man, it's deep. It is very, very difficult. And I just realized I'm not smart enough for this book. I'm just not. So shout out to Tim though.
What is it?
Yeah, what's it about?
It is about, let me hit you with, I'm trying to find where it would be here. Timothy M. Harrison uncovers the forgotten role of poetry in the history of the idea of consciousness.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. Focusing attention on a sea change in the English 17th century, when over the course of a half century, conscience made a sudden shift to consciousness. Wow. And then it goes on from there. I mean, that does sound cool, right?
It does.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just like, So I was like, oh my God. I was like, Tim, I don't know what you're saying. You're using words I've never heard. I'm stopping every like sentence to look up a word. But my guy coming through with the Coming To book. So shout out to him.
You're
So
gonna need a knife and a fork to get through that.
100%. 100%.
JD, what's something from your past that you've recently revisited after being away from it for years?
Yeah, I've mentioned it before, how the pandemic, the second half of the pandemic, has not been kind to me. So I've had to break out these bad boys again.
Oh boy.
These are I'm not going to say what size they are.
These are my
They're
pants.
big, really big.
Are those Wyclef jeans?
They're Widecliff jeans.
Nothing better than throwing on a big old pair of pants.
You know what, though? I put them on. I was like, finally, oh, God, I can actually relax, because my current shorts are just like, squeezing like Giannis taking the dunk there. That's how I felt the entire time wearing them. So
is that why you had your all-star shorts on the other day, JD? A little looser in the elasticity?
Yes, that and laundry day.
Right.
Lee, what's something from your past that you've recently revisited after being away from it for years?
Well, I'm about to revisit it, I guess, because I used to be a big Jim Beam head.
Jim Beam head.
So I'm going to do that. But Skeetsy, talk about books.
Yeah.
What you reading? I went scuba diving for the first time in my life about a month ago.
Yeah.
Hey, go scuba diving once. Now look what he's got here.
100 dives of a lifetime.
So, it's interesting because it's broken up into like beginner, intermediate, and advanced, right?
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, great. And so I go to the first beginner one.
Yeah.
Right. Beginner dives, part 1. Okay. And the second one is a place in Iceland. And it's like you don't actually sort of see too much as far as marine life, but you can actually sort of touch 2 continents at the same time. That's the appeal of it.
Okay.
And it says, so it's a beginner one. I'm like, wow, that's pretty interesting. Maybe I could do something like that. And it says, a dry suit and dry suit experience is required. That doesn't sound like beginner to me at all. I don't know what dry suit means, and I don't know what dry suit experience is. So, I'm too sure
you can figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, just read the book. Maybe.
Dry suit. I mean, I don't quite get it. I mean, you're going to get wet in there. But anyway, that one looks fascinating. So I'll put that one to the top of my list in Iceland.
So hold on, you went scuba diving.
Yeah.
In Turks and Caicos,
Yeah.
and then turned around and bought a book from what appears to be like National Geographic.
Yeah.
The top 100 dives in the world. Like,
Yeah.
I think you just jumped from like one thing a little too far to the actual thing of scuba diving. Yeah.
It wasn't actually, I didn't actually purchase it though. It was a gift from a friend of Roxana's who stayed with us. She was here getting vaccinated.
Oh, okay.
And while she was here, she was like, hey, because I must have been talking about it incessantly. And so she's like, here's a gift for you. And I was like, great. So I got 100 dives to do now.
Wow.
Some of them are awesome though. There's like diving through like World War II, like remains on the ocean floor and stuff like that. So it's 135 feet down. So I'm probably not quite ready for that. But
all right. Hey, bring that book over if you're coming to play spike ball with my buddy Griffs this weekend. He'd like to get his hands on that book.
Yeah. You want me to bring the green egg too?
Pack it up.
Sure.
Everyone's got to bring something from like quarantine to the party. JD can bring his big shorts.
Oh, I'm bringing those shorts. Believe me.
All right, let's call it there. That's rapid fire. That's the Drop Podcast.
Hang on, wait. I've got a photo here of Uncle Fred. You want to see it?
Oh, yeah, geez.
Yeah, totally.
There he is.
Oh, he's got a shirt.
Yeah, I gave him one of the no dunk shirts. He loved it.
Okay.
He loved it. Yeah.
You blasted this on Instagram, man.
Yeah.
Uncle Fred, a.k.a. Jeff. Good stuff. That's it for us this week. Please like, comment, subscribe to No Dunks on YouTube. Email us your NBA questions and comments for the next Beach Steppin' podcast. NoDunks@theathletic.com. Grab your No Dunks merch over at NoDunks.com. And if you haven't already subscribed to The Athletic, go to theathletic.com/NoDunks. All right, that's it, guys. Regular season basically in the books. We'll be back on Monday to recap it all. We got hashtag full squad moving forward here now too, which is going to be a lot of fun. So join us Monday as we recap what happens in this crazy NBA weekend, get some idea maybe of playoff matchups, at least have the play-in tournaments decided to set up and get ready for next week. Going to be a blast. Got a couple more months to go here as the playoffs kick off, but we're very, very excited. So we will see you guys on Monday. Everybody have a safe and happy weekend. Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, it's a big year for Cats, like Fred Katz. Not Uncle Fred Katz, but Matt Fred Katz, because his real name isn't Fred. He covers The Athletic. He covers Washington Wizards on The Athletic, I should say.
Embrace the day and the weekend, people.